You are looking live at a weekly chart of the Nasdaq, and if you can zoom in here, you can see that it has been higher for 6 consecutive weeks here. After the low, you can see the reversal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive weeks with the volume, above, the average, of 40-week volume here. So the Nasdaq is definitely in a power trend, but it has not been able to take out that high of the 18,671 here. And it can't be a leading index if it's not trading at a new high, because the SPY has been trading at a new high, and it did that last week. If I go to the daily chart, I'll get back to the Nasdaq in a minute. I just wanted to show that SPY and the Dow Jones are outperforming. This index made a new high on Thursday of 586, and if we go to the Dow Jones Industrial Average here, it also made a new high, I think, on Friday, 43,325. So while those indexes are at new highs, and we can see, this is a weekly chart now. This thing's just grinding higher, and they're in power trends. The Nasdaq has not been able to make that new high. So that's what I'm looking for with the Nasdaq. We saw Intuitive Surgical and Netflix on Friday with strong earnings, and I think there's been a lot of rotation in the market. And as long as the tech earnings come in strong, as I think they will, from Apple and Microsoft and Amazon and Google and Nvidia, this index is going to start taking leadership and take out that old high of 18,671. It closed at 18,489 on Friday. It was up 116 points, or 0.63%. If I go to the weekly, you can see it was up 146 points last week, or 0.8%. So it's in a steady grind higher, a nice rally, got the foot on the gas. And a lot of things working well, a lot of leadership. Like I mentioned, the rotation, and the money's just flowing from one sector to another, and or 3 or 4 sectors into other sectors. So a lot of stuff doing well. I'm going to get to some of it. Can't get to all of it, but I'm going to try to cover as much as I can. I guess I have to go to I know that Russell. This is a lagging index as well. If I go to the daily, you can see that it's just forming this base, ready to take out that 228.63. Wasn't able to do it quite last week, but maybe next week. And I'm expecting the small caps and the Nasdaq to a rotation into some of these. And we saw the small banks doing well. I've been posting videos about that, but I'm not going to get into that today. I'm going to go straight to some of our leading stocks. Since I mentioned Nvidia, I might as well start there. Traded at an all-time high on Thursday, and had a quiet inside day on Friday, which is kind of rare because the monthly options expired and the day was pretty quiet for most stocks and for the indexes that I just showed. But anyway, made that new high, consolidating in this base for if I go to the weekly, it is a weekly review. And thank you for watching my weekly review. 17 weeks, which is 4 months. 4 months of consolidating these big, massive gains here. And you can kind of see, that how it, runs up. When it moves, it really moves. But when it consolidates, it takes a long time. Here's another big run, consolidation, another run, and now it's consolidating, ready to break out. I'm pretty confident NVIDIA is going to run here another, I don't know, 20% from that 140 level. You know, that wouldn't surprise me. In fact, that's what I expect, maybe up to the 165, 170 level. Looks like it's getting ready to burst. Anyway, I'm not going to go through all the Mag 7 names. They're going to be reporting earnings soon. This is Apple. They're going to report on October 31. You have to know what days your stocks are reporting earnings, because it can be disastrous if you hold heavy into an earnings report and the stock bombs. Apple traded up to 237.49, which is just a tick above the 237.23, and that was on Tuesday. There was a report. There's conflicting reports on the iPhone 16 and how well it's selling, but this one just pulled back to its 10. It's finding support at the 10 here now, so Apple looks very strong. And then, of course, Microsoft's going to be reporting soon on the 30th. This one's just consolidating in a base as well. Amazon reports on the 31st, same day as Apple. I mean, what's Monday's what, the 21st? Yeah, so you're 10 days away from these big tech companies reporting earnings. So that's something to look forward to. Anyway, I'm going to go to some of the stronger stocks and some of the stronger groups here. This is IES Holdings. This is the building maintenance group. Now it's ranked 22, but it's the top performing industry group, just by performance. And I believe it's up, I don't know, 120% for the year. That's the group. This thing's up like 170% for the year. Nobody talks about it. I know it doesn't get a lot of volume. It's a $220 stock though, 4.5 billion market cap. And, I'm just showing performance here. Now the strong industry group, this is EME. You can see it consolidated in a base, broke out. Now it's supporting the 10, surfing that moving average like Kelly Slater. These are strong stocks, and it's a strong group. And this is Rollins. This one's still consolidating in that base, still has that pivot area around $50 there. So definitely one to look forward to. Anyway, I've got to move on because I got so much stuff to get to today. I'm just going to be brief. It is a weekly review, so I should be showing weekly charts. This is Vistra Energy. This is the top performing stock in the S&P 500 this year. So yeah, it made this big move straight up from the bottom. And when you have a stock that goes up 70% in that short period of time, you're going to have some profit taking and some pullback. So what we saw 2 weeks ago was this stock fall, nearly 10% in a week, and made a new high and then reversed lower, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's totally toast. But it had an inside week last week, and it was up nearly 5%. If you want to see it on the daily, just want to point out it's 8.8% below its 52, so it could do that in a day, the way this thing trades. But you can see this straight up from the bottom, 72 to 143, then pull back to the 21, finding support at the 21. And that's what you want to see with your stocks. I mean, if you own them, finding support, it's definitely an area of demarcation there that clearly it stopped right at the 21, then it rebounded higher, got up to 139 last week, and now it's finding support at the 10. So I'm interested to see how this one trades next week. But all these stocks, in the energy group, and I certainly can't show you all of them because there's just too many that are doing well. This is a Constellation. This one also just pulled back to its 21, and I'm going to show you the weekly because it did something similar to Vistra, where it pulled back 2 weeks ago, 6.75%, and then they added, nearly 2% last week. So yeah, these are just super strong stocks. GEV or GE Vernova, this one got a double upgrade on Friday. You can see this one broke out of this consolidation. It's just been running. Also note the earnings line heading north, the stock is heading north, and there's definitely a correlation there. Now, Market Surge has this rated as the #1 group, the alternative energy group. And we've heard a lot of deals with Microsoft and Constellation and Google about our energy company, and Amazon. So yeah, a lot of these stocks are doing well, and these hyperscalers, they know it's going to take a lot of energy, to build out this AI, and shoot, they might as well be the leaders in energy as well, right? They got so much money and resources. This is a new scale. SMR is the ticker. Made that high of 1691, consolidated, pulled back, and then made a new high last week. It was up only 38.5% last week, and that's why I'm showing you this one. That's one hell of a move off the lows. And somebody was saying, oh, it reversed on Friday, it sold off. Yeah, it traded higher, then sold off. You got to expect some profit taking. I mean, my gosh, with a move like that, I mean, what did I say, 38%? Yeah, take profits. You don't have money in your account until you sell a little bit, right? All right, some other ones that some people asked me to look at. OKLO obviously had a big move. Only 99%. Why not 100? So that's a big move for OKLO. And 1880 was that old pivot, I would say, and it's just a tick below it. Once again, like SMR, Yeah, it traded higher in the morning and then sold off into the afternoon. But that's just profit taking after being up, what did I say, 99% last week? Yeah, take some profits, folks. Yeah, not in your account till you sell. The other one is NNE, another one of these alternative energy plays that yeah, nuclear. And you can see it's just still forming a base. It was 37. And now I just call this an IPO base, but definitely making highs up 8% on Friday, 13.5% last week. So that one's not quite as extended as the other. And what other one? Oh, Jerome Powell. This is another one. The power equipment stock. This one just gashing higher, man. It's only up 3% last week. But Kelly's latest stock, surfing the 10, looking, strong, avertive, and I can't get to all these, and I'm not going to, but this one got this pronounced base here, very pronounced cup with handle. That's pretty easy to see, and it's breaking out to new highs, getting support at the 10. There you can see it on the weekly. In fact, if you look at the weekly, you'd say that hasn't even broken out yet. That's still near that 109 buy point. So just $3 above it. That is still actionable. So that's why you got to look at all time frames. Since I mentioned that, look at the monthly. This thing has really been a powerhouse, and I think it still has some juice left in it. No pun intended. All right, I'm going to move on to another area. I got to go to the software names. Yeah, because just like I mentioned, there's just a lot of groups doing well. This is Palantir, leading stock. AI, I think the guy at Wedbush, Dan Ives calls it the Messi of AI. Had quite a big move and just pulled back 1.25% last week. Another software name that I like is GoDaddy. This one obviously had a big move and now consolidating in the base. I like GoDaddy as it traded above its downtrend line within the base here, trading kind of tight too. So yeah, once it did that, now it traded up. Now it's going sideways, allowing the moving averages to catch up. That thing looks fantastic. And another one that I like is APP App 11, and you can see the RS line. RS is at 99. This thing is just made the big move from 82 up to, I think it almost got up to 150, maybe 149. Now it's forming like a shelf type pattern here. Yeah, 147, that's good enough. 148, forming a little shelf here, allowing the moving averages to catch up. So I would not be surprised to see this one bounce off its 10 soon and trade above 150. It's just a strong stock in a bull market. And the other one I wanted to show in software is ZETA. This one was downgraded on Friday. Now you can see it broke out of a base. It's just been surfing its moving average, real nice. And now all of a sudden, wham, it gets whacked on the monthly expiration Friday on a downgrade. Some big heavy selling coming in. Down 7% on a downgrade. And I always like to see how stocks react to downgrades. That one did not react well, but I'm going to say after being down 12% this week, it's going to bounce next week. That's just my guess, my best guess. It could certainly crash through the 50 and trade down to the 200 as you see this RS line now has sliced its MAs. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. I've got to move on because I got too much stuff to get to. The gold and silver are just there on fire, trading at highs. Gold seems like a new high every day. This is Seabridge Gold. It's got that buy point there at 1899. What is it? Get it right, Marty. Yeah, 1899, but it's a little extended. It moved so much on Friday. It's 7.6 above the 10, so maybe give it some time for the moving averages to catch up with this one. GATO. This is another one of these mining gold. You can see the group now is up to 25. And this one already broke out and is trading higher. Nice 15% move and making a new high on Friday. Just pointing out strength here. I don't own these. I wish I did. But yeah, they're just making big moves as gold and silver, copper. These mining plays are doing really well. This is Silvercrest Metals. You can see that buy area around 1027. A little bit extended though. It moved so much on Friday. It's 8.5% above the 10. So, don't just chase these. Let them come to you a little bit here. MAG. This one broke out as well. Yeah, they're just extended. I'm just pointing out strength here in the minors. I'm not, you know, recommending you buy them. But here's one. This is a pattern that we've seen a lot lately, where the stock, rallies off the lows and then it pulls back, forms this little bull wedge pattern to the 21 here. I kind of like that. When it made the move from a 93 to 121, that's a big move. Now it pulls back to the 21. Like ZETA, I would expect this to find support at the 21, where ZETA is going to find support at the 50. We hope. You never know in the stock market. Yeah, often wrong, but never in doubt. Here's a Freeport McMoran, kind of a similar situation where it made this big run. Now forms this wedge pattern back to the 21. So we'll see if these find support next week. I'm thinking they will, but you never know which way the rotation's going to go. AEM is another one. This one broke out. I should be showing you the weekly charts because it's a weekly review, but I don't know. Just look at all time frames. This one popped nicely last week, 8%. NEM is another one of these miners. This group 25's got a lot of these stocks doing well, and you can see this one's just been in a nice trend for a long time, up 6% last week. Yeah, it's just getting a little extended from those moving averages. I like them a little tighter and trading closer to the MAs before I get involved. And then CCJ, this one's just been on a tear straight up from the bottom. It's got that buy point at 56.24, so we'll see if it pulls back around that pivot area. Okay, I'm going to move on to the crypto. This is working too. Crypto's been up, I think it's around 68,000 this weekend. Anyway, they ran up from the bottom. This is what I mean when they run up straight from the bottom, they usually pull back. And this one consolidated for a long, long time. Had that pivot at 200. A little problem with 200 here. You can see it got knocked down, supported the 10, ran up, made a new high, got knocked down 4 days in a row last week. Down to the 10, found support and bounced Friday. So that's probably down for the week though, huh? Nope, up 1.5%. You can see it's just emerging from this base here of consolidation. So definitely a stock that I still like. And, I know it was up big on Friday, 11%. So you might want to let it come into you a little bit as it's 11% above its 10 EMA here. Nice bounce. Yeah, let that one settle. You cannot be chasing stuff because you get shaken out. This is a Coinbase. Once again, trying to move straight off the bottom here, 146 to 192, then pulled back, ran through the 50, ran through the 200. This one's got a lot of strength. But you really have to pay attention to the price of Bitcoin though, because a lot of these do trade, loosely, tied to the price of Bitcoin. This is HUT, HUT. There's another one. There's a lot of them. Mara, I don't know. I just like MSTR and Coin, and I like Hood as well. Those are the three that I like. 2488 actionable area. It's up 2683, but it's forming a little shelf here, trading tight next to the 10. Looks like it had a little quiet day on Friday. Anyway, that's the crypto group. Now I got to go to the construction. This is a concrete Eagle Materials, broke out of this base, making new highs. Knife River, this one's breaking out. You can see it straight up from the bottom, pull back to the 21. That's that, bull wedge that we've seen a lot here, where they make highs and they sell off. And this is why I say don't chase. Because if you're buying it up here, 93, and then it pulls back, to its 21, you're going to get shaken out. They're at $85. Nobody wants to hold 93 to 85. Screw that. You want to buy at 85 and sell at 93. Anyway, yeah, so you got to pay attention to those moving averages. Just a bunch of these construction names. I don't know, I have trader friends who say they're just hurricane stocks, but they could be infrastructure plays, whatever. I don't really care. I just know they're going higher, and I want to own stocks going higher. This is Jacob's Solution. For whatever the reason, they don't need a reason to go higher. This is Granite Construction. Has an ascending base here. What is this, 3 weeks tight? Yeah, so this one looks fantastic as well. Just trading higher. As long as it stays above the moving averages and the moving averages are rising, you're in the chips, man. Another couple of construction plays. that are, Quanta Service is one of my favorites right here. Just a quiet stock, grinds higher. The earnings line just grinds higher. The stock just grinds higher. It's just a quiet, nice little stock to own with a small, little dividend. This is Sterling. It's been strong lately. You can see these 2 weeks here really powered higher above that pivot point. And now, yeah, you can see that right there, powered through the pivot, pullback. That's that wedge pattern that I'm talking about. We've seen this a lot. Makes a high, pulls back to a moving average, finds support, and makes another new high. Very common. All right, I'm going to move on because Intuitive Surgical reported on Thursday. Nice pop out of that little, I guess you'd call that a shelf area. I think our friend Mike Webster would call that a shelf here. Just, a couple months of consolidating sideways action. And this is what you like the tight trading, kind of like stealth accumulation here. And then they report, waiting for the data, obviously. They didn't want to pay above $500 for it, but now they're going to have to. It's up 10% on Friday. So nice pop there. You can see it on the weekly. As long as that earnings line's heading due north and the stock's heading higher. So that's, still in an incline, right? It's still ascending. Others in the group, Medtronic, medical systems equipment. You can see this one busted higher on Friday as well. You can see that, trying to break out of that consolidation pattern. That one looks good. A couple other ones in the group that I don't really talk about much, but making new highs here. This is ClearPoint, medical systems equipment. Yeah, you can see that move higher. Thinly traded, low price stock, but just pointing out strength and breaking out of that pivot area. And BWAY, another one that I don't talk about much, BrainsWay, medical systems equipment, $10 stock, but breaking out of the base and running higher. And you can see the earnings line trending higher as well. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that group. There's just a lot of groups I got to get to. This stock I had on our ready list last week, and the group, the computer software finance group, has been very strong. What is it? Yeah, 6 out of 197. It had this downtrend line that it broke above, then it was trading tight near its MA, and that's why I like the stocks that are trading tight near their moving averages. And you just got to be patient with them. It was up 7.25% last week, so that's a good move. Another one that I like is this is a credit card payment stock, is 4. You can see this one broke out of a base and is trading higher. QTWO, Q2 Holdings, computer software stock, breaking out of the base here and just trading, surfing its 10 EMA. That one looks fantastic. FICO, this one's a monster. I mean, just look at this one on any time frame, and it's like, hello. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just a monster stock. FICO and SEZL, I'd be pretending just if I told you that I knew what it was doing, I would be lying. I don't know what it does. Digital platforms, I don't care. Digital payment platforms. So yeah, the thing's rocketing higher. And then TOST, this is the last one in the group I'm going to show. I used top TOST, Toast, whatever, to pay. What was I paying there? I think it was for golf yesterday. Yeah, anyway, breaking out of a base, moving higher. You can see supported at the 21. So that group, man, I got a lot of stuff to get to because the banks reported strong earnings. And that's why you saw rotation, out of tech and out of other areas into the financials. Morgan Stanley, strong report. I mean, you look at it, 18, 17% sales growth and 36% earnings growth. Thank you very much. Nice breakout there. You think, man, Morgan Stanley, come on, Marty. What about Wells Fargo? Man, this thing looks like a tech stock. Here you go, trading tight within a base here, back to the 50, and then bam, moved higher. I like stocks going higher, so if the banks are going higher, I like them. Keep it simple. SF, San Francisco, or Stifel Financial, making new highs, up 5% last week. Yeah, these things are rocking. Some of the smaller banks that I mentioned earlier, AMAL, this is the Northeast Bank. I showed a lot of them in the other video the other day. I know it's thinly traded. It's making new highs, so I like stocks that make new highs. Some of the larger ones, though, American Express, they reported pulled back to the 21, looks fine. Visa, consolidating still within a base, and MasterCard. Yeah, looks like, the leader of those three. Anyway, I'm going to move on because I got to get to my drug stocks, not drugs, but biotech. People like seeing these biotechs because they really rise, but they also fail. So they're high risk, high reward. This is a VRDN Therapeutics making new 52-week highs and looking pretty darn good. CAPR, they had a secondary offering, which pulled back to the 10 here. And man, this thing moves a lot. It moves fast, but you can see this little, wedging pattern along the 10 here. This is pretty obvious. The pole here, this is your high tight flag. Not that tight yet, but I wouldn't give it much more time. This thing's going to break out to new highs, that once the secondary is absorbed. What is the new high, Marty? If you're going to bring up new highs, you got to mention them. 2340. So yeah, my guess is it'll trade above 2340. All right. EWTX. Once again, I have no idea what these things do. This one just makes new highs. I think this was a trial, phase 2 trial, then it's just pulled back to the 10, now making new highs. That's Edgewise Therapeutics. And then one that I am familiar with, this is TG with the Briumvi, the multiple sclerosis drug. And this one's got a very pronounced, pullback, trade higher, pull back to MA, trade higher, pull back to the MA. And it's got to get above that 2641, and I think it will. With an earnings report, with a strong earnings report. And there you can see it just had this base here, pull back. Now it's just forming a shelf. It hasn't really broken out yet. So like I said, it needs some more data. It needs some earnings juice. I'm going to move on from this group and go to this is a favorite group too, is the restaurant group. And these things are just rocking and rolling. CAVA, people are going out dining. My friend Jack from Florida says that the boomers are spending their inheritance, their kids' inheritance money by taking cruises, going out dining, spending money, wining and dining. And we could see it in CAVA. And then in Brinker, the margaritas at Chili's, I guess, are off the hook and people like them. You can see the base here making new highs. This is a powerful restaurant stock. McDonald's making new 52-week highs and breaking out of that base, had 3 weeks tight, then moved nearly 4% last week. There's just a lot of stuff that looks good here. Cheesecake Factory making new highs. So you got the bull market, you got stock selection. You still have to make good choices in your stocks. You can't just buy anything. This is a Shake Shack. This one's still, consolidating, trading tight within a base. So, I like that. I did mention that you have to pick the right stocks. This is ELF in a stage 4 decline. If you look at the weekly, right? It had the base, then it ascended, and then once it, kind of topped there, and now stage 4 decline. So that's okay. It had a nice run, but that's what I'm talking about. You still have to pick the right stocks. You don't want to just be married to stocks that are going downhill. Another stock that I really, really like, I haven't bought it yet. I don't know what's wrong with me, and that's DoorDash. You can see it broke out of this base and now it's surfing its moving average. But if you look at the weekly, man, this is a thing of beauty here. This cup with handle pattern. How many weeks in a row has this thing been up? 3, 4, 5, 6, just like the Nasdaq here, 6 weeks. And I really like that base here from the IPO, the bear market of 2022. Now it's coming out of it. Cup with handle, man. I like DoorDash. In fact, I'm gonna buy it next week. How about that? Just buy the darn thing. I've got to mention a couple of oil and gas stocks because the oil commodity itself has been way down, and the stocks are mostly down. And I'm not going to show you the bad stocks in the group, but this one is up, and It's a transportation pipeline stock and just making new 52-week highs. This thing's a monster from that breakout, surfing the moving averages. So you got to like that. Kinder Morgan, they reported last week. You see the breakout from the base, pull back to the 21, ripped higher. Now it's forming a little shelf. That looks good to me as well. And then VNOM, this is a U.S. exploration stock, and this one's, making new highs. So you got to like stocks that are making new highs. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that group. Another group that I rarely show is I'm just going to throw them all together here. The truck, manufacturing, materials, Cummins is one here breaking out from a base. Granger is another one of these machinery tool stocks. You can see it was in this base here, pulled back, formed that little wedge pattern or a handle, if you will, then popped higher. Another one is PCAR. This is in the same group with Cummins. This one making new. It's in a base, actually. It's in a base. Did not make a 52-week high. I'm just showing you that, yeah, these things. This one could show up on our ready list here. I like the looks of that, and I'll explain why later at mcstockcharts.com. FAST, another one that I like in this group, and then ALSN. And this one's already broken out and moved higher. So, yeah, a couple of those might show up on our ready list. I did mention our friend Jack in Florida, and he's talking about the boomers are spending their kids' inheritance and taking cruises, and these cruise line stocks are just going bonkers. This is a Royal Caribbean cruise line, and this is Carnival. This one's trading higher. You can see these are making new highs. This is Carnival, yeah, 52-week highs. What's the other? Norwegian cruise line. Yeah, making a new 52-week highs. And the one that I really like is Viking. So I did buy Viking. It's got this, looks like the IPO was priced too low here, 24. It ran up and then formed a base here, an IPO base, which I kind of like there at the 37 area. And now it's at 38.97. Let's take a look at this on the daily. Yeah, you can see that from the IPO, it ripped straight up to 37, then pulled back. Now just formed this like IPO base, and now it's starting to push away from the base. So I like that. Anyway, thank you for watching my weekly review. A lot of stuff going on. We're in a nice, strong uptrend. You still have to select the right stocks. I'll have a ready list at mcstockcharts.com on Monday morning. Still see, although leaders are extended, I'm still seeing quite a few stocks that I like trading tight within a base. And anyway, I have one more thing in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I have to mention Netflix because they reported earnings in 11% following its earnings report. The thing about Netflix is they won the streaming wars, right? So they have pricing power. There's not really a stock like them. I mean, you might say Disney, but Disney's nothing like Netflix. Netflix is saturated in the United States, so the only way they really can have any growth here is, to raise, their prices. But I don't know what price point Netflix gets to where people say, I don't want Netflix anymore. But I do believe they have pricing power in the United States, and then in their emerging markets and in, just overseas, they're growing, subscriber base. So I think this has a lot more run in it here. You can see it had this, 3 or 4 weeks tight period there where it went sideways, kind of like Intuitive Surgical before earnings. And they didn't want to pay above $700 for it here. It came down to its 50 and then popped. Now it's at 763. So Netflix, congrats to the longs there. You can see over time, this thing has been a monster model book stock. And this one recently, is straight up north, baby. All you have to do is hold it. All right. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for watching.